Yesterday I was able to play Halo Infinite via Xbox Game Pass. This game has been a long time coming and has had many ups and downs when it comes down to the public opinion of the game. I swear Halo Infinite has had the weirdest cloud of doubt and nonsense swirling around the game's development since its reveal. There's a slur of drama surrounding the game, along with popular streamers saying stupid things like Halo Infinite's gonna die without Battle Royale. These things have just complicated the release of Halo Infinite, and let me tell you, these things couldn't be farther from the truth. If you were wondering about the early release and how it's doing, then I'll fire on all cylinders for you. In the words of one of my favorite YouTubers, 343 is looking like it's on track to being quite possibly one of the best first-person shooters I've played in years. No, really, I feel like a kid again diving into this and say with confidence it feels amazing to have Halo be talk of the show again. And with that said, I'm gonna try to do something I haven't done before. I'm gonna try to tell you my experiences and do a little overview of the game's mechanics and balancing all in one video. I'm a mess, guys, so succeed or fail, this video will teach me something I need to grow on YouTube. And I kinda need that knowledge making content, you know? So I gotta say this if I'm saying anything. Halo Infinite's multiplayer is free, so I imagine if you have access to console or PC, you'll be able to grab a buddy and hop right into it. That's kind of unexpected, to be honest. Xbox currently has a lot of games cooking and you can't really make games overnight, but at the same time, you can't really have nothing, can ya? So Halo Infinite being accessible to everyone will definitely help Xbox focus on other projects. At least without worrying about a lack of entertainment for their audience, so good job Microsoft, I peeped that. And here's my actual interaction with the game. You see, when I booted up Halo, I was greeted with a cool as hell display of the 343 logo as an introduction to booting it up. This had me really hyped up and kinda gave me a weird yet welcoming feeling as it played a chorus of beautiful voices alongside it. I let that play out just to be smacked in the face with a wave of nostalgia by an all too familiar theme. Yep. If I wasn't already amped up, I was now. I swear 343 has been seeing all the memes of people singing the Halo theme song in school bathrooms, cause that's exactly what we needed to hear. Anywho, I fondled with my settings. Just kidding, I was too excited, so I immediately started exploring my options with armor. And side note, Halo's going crazy this year with armor customization touching samurai themes, and I hear that people are getting upset at that cause it's not Halo, but guys, what? That's cool as hell. If you see an armor that bothers you, just don't wear it. I don't even know why it would bother you, to be honest. It's not like Halo hasn't done this before with high abuse armor, so I don't get why it would bother anyone now. Anywho, I had 3 other options before me. The one I had equipped was the Mark II variant, and I took note that armors have rarities to them like they had in Halo 5. This made me slightly concerned, cause back in Halo 5, you'd have to open up loot boxes to get rare and legendary armor cores, but thank God the loot box days are far behind us. Anywho, there were 2 other armor cores along with it. One was epic rarity, but I couldn't get it due to the need of the battle pass, which discouraged me a bit, but I swallowed it and continued to check my options. And the third was a legendary armor core, and boy did it look it. But I couldn't get it due to it being tied to a Tenrai event? I don't know, there's something special about hearing that we are going to have events in Halo to unlock things. The community usually makes their own events with custom games instead, so that's good to see. And if I'm able to get armors that look like this because of those events, then hell yeah. After this, I joined one of my friends' lobbies and checked the new weapons bench, and this feature as a whole may be normalized these days and may also have been introduced in Halo 5, but how they presented it to me in Halo Infinite was elite. Presentation wise, how they handled the weapon locker in this game is just great, and the same applies to the armor hall of the game. I found little things like my Spartan watching me customize my weapon to be super charming. And speaking of charms, this time around in Halo Infinite, there were cute little charms you can put on your weapons, along with the ability to put emblems on your weapons and armor of any sort. They really laid the grounds for all kinds of crazy customizations in the future. I mean, wouldn't it be sick to have a gold rifle in the Halo of all games? It would be, so shut up. I do however hope it doesn't become a pay for the skin or armor you want exclusively kind of thing. Obviously there's gonna be some you can earn, but it would be way too tempting to make the big cool armor everyone wants appear in the shop for $20. So please 343, Don't do that. I get the game is free, but you really need to keep in mind people who don't have that kind of money. The other two options is body and AI and Spartan ID, but we'll just go with the latter. Here you can also mess with your palette, backdrop, and stance, effectively breathing personality and who you are and want to be. Naturally, I named my service tag Dogo and went on to the body and aspect of the menu. Something small I value is the ability to have variety of prosthetic limbs in any fashion you want it. Back in Halo Reach days, you'd have to grind your way to get it. Now I simply can just select which limb I want it on. And man, this is really one of my favorite aspects of the game. If you're familiar with literally any Halo game, you know Cortana. Now guys, have you ever wondered what it would be like if you had your own AI like Master Chief? Well, now you can, cause these little dudes are your AIs and they are freaking awesome. Just listen to these little guys.
Let's just try our best not to get killed, okay? Here goes nothing. Wait, really? Me? Look, I'll be honest, I'm kinda new.
Fret's easily my favorite, hands down. I just love how he's nervous as hell, and his comments on how you kill people in a dope way is priceless. He'll say things like, oh, I wouldn't want to be that guy, or yeah, that gun's pretty effective, alright. You literally have a cool as hell companion in your corner throughout the whole fight, and they pop up when you capture objectives or hack doors, not to mention they have their own personalities, and there's so much room to make more kinds of AI. 343. I'm just in love with this. Seriously, thank you for this. I get good laughs from AI and would take good old Fret over Cortana any day. 343, please put all kinds of personalities for these AIs. I can already see an AI for Tank Dempsey from COD Zombies. Fuck it, let me show you what I mean.
Hey, look! It's nobody! Oh, our little bundle of badass. Hey, check it out! I'm outside! Perfect! As I would expect from a soldier like you. Get back, you rank-ass nasty squag! Back off, meat mouth! You smell like a pool of shit, freak bag!
Anywho, now one of the first things that I took note of was the Battle Pass. But by extension, this also means the shop, so we'll touch on the Battle Pass first. This one's pretty simple. If you ever seen a Battle Pass in any game, you know what it means without explaining it, but I'm still gonna drop you some spicy info. The currency goes by the name of credits, and like any Battle Pass, you need a lot of them to get the Battle Pass in the first place. You start off with 0 and you get two options: the Premium Battle Pass, which is just you starting out in the bottom tier, or the Pass Bundle, which is essentially you just buying everything in it. Also, this game has weekly and daily challenges that give you a small amount of XP, but what makes me scratch my head is that the Battle Pass limits how much you can have by making you pay for the Battle Pass just to unlock one more challenge slot. I found this extremely unnecessary. I mean, whoever's buying the Battle Pass, I'm sure, is already getting an XP boost, so why? They're really going out of their way to make sure you buy the Battle Pass. I can already see this annoying a lot of people, so please just remove this 343. Not the Battle Pass itself, just this. Naturally, this discouraged me, but like before, I just ignored it and chop it up to just another Battle Pass. Curse you, Fortnite. Lastly, for the main menu, we have the Community tab, and basically you get to see past games you've played in and bookmark them if you liked it. Popular game modes are just the most played custom games, and if you've played any Halo, you know what my files are for. You essentially just download and port over custom maps to make fun game modes of your own, so I can't wait to play around with this with my friends or find someone that can host custom game modes. That'll be a blast. So enough with the main menu, here's what happened with my multiplayer experience. I'm sure this won't be long because there's only so much you can go over with the multiplayer by itself, but I'll try to get into the nitty gritty of weapons somewhere down the line, so bear with me. So me and my buds booted up a game of Oddball, and I was greeted with character introductions. A lot of games have been doing this lately, but there's just a strong feeling that gives Halo more charm than most first-person shooters that actually do this. Anywho, after each of our characters gave an introduction of their own and the camera zoomed out to display my team, the camera then proceeded to zoom into my face in a smooth transition to kick me into the gameplay. It's small, but I adore that and found it to be something I admired from each game I got into. As time goes by, I know there will be all kinds of introductions, so just know that this is, simply put it, cool as hell. It quite literally just shows each member of your team and their own personality, so yeah. Now, how did my first game go? Well, I did terribly. I had done extremely well in the beta before this one, but all of a sudden, I was bottom fragging and very nervous around camera, but oh well, I'm just gonna have to get over that. Anywho, they kicked our ass in the oddball game when I went on to acknowledge how my aiming felt very stiff beyond me being comfortable, so I acknowledged that I need to change my aim settings. Did I? No, I forgot like 1,000 times, and this proceeded to make me perform okay-ish throughout all the games I played. Eventually, I went on to Big Team Battle and even started doing better, but that was at the end of the day. All my friends got off Halo, so I decided to as well. The next day, I came back and immediately hit up my settings for a change, and with this, I was glad to say my performance increased dramatically, and I'm an alright player, but now my footage won't make me look like a noob, so hurrah. Real talk, the first thing you should do is change your settings, so no more Dookie Dogo in this video. Side note, on my screen you'll probably see my settings, so copy it if you like. Anywho, back to it. Me and my friends ran it back up, and we had played a lot, and I mean a lot of games, but one of the games that sticks out to me was one of the runs I was dedicating myself to the assault rifle and the assault rifle alone. I mean, occasionally I'd use a sidearm, but the details don't matter. Anywho, this game may have resulted in a loss, but Jesus Christ was I going crazy with the assault rifle. It's like I was awakening some new kind of ability, man. You know Bankai's from Bleach? It felt like that, my dude. Kill after kill after kill. Yes, I was dying, but yes, I couldn't be stopped until we lost. But yeah, after this, I spent a lot of my time in the game dedicating it to just trying out and testing weapons because, well, man, it's just so many, man. It's cool. But that's besides the point, man. The assault rifle is definitely one of my favorite weapons in this game. Because when I used this, man, it was like, oh my god, if this is the assault rifle, what the hell is everything else? So it's safe to say that I had a genuine positive experience in most of the multiplayer for a while. Oh wow, man. Most of my games after that went on to be just like this, and so what I did after that was eventually just stop playing multiplayer and focus on just testing weapons in custom games, which is exactly what I'm finna show you. You like guns? Well, good. Me too. And I'm sure you want to hear about some of the old and new weapons that are displayed. This time around, interactions and gunplay felt much smoother, and I was just having a blast with this change in my settings. So first up is the assault rifle, and let me tell you, who would have thought that the assault rifle in Halo Infinite actually feels like one? I was genuinely surprised to see how reliable it is. From close range to medium and almost far range, that AR is your best friend. I kid you not, this thing is so good. For years the Halo AR has felt like just meh, but this time around, it feels genuinely viable. You have no idea how liberating it feels to actually rely on your main rifle, and with simple changes like this, I can say every weapon or weapon change will feel just as good. Your factory weapon will always be the AR in your sidearm, and speaking of this, it's one hell of a sidekick. I mean, that is literally its name after all. This thing is just good, straight up. If you have a trigger finger and good accuracy, it'll shed through just about anybody. You can even use it as a main weapon if you like, but if someone's shields is gone, the sidekick is definitely finishing them off. Next up is the Cinder Shot, easily one of my favorite weapons of the game so far. This gun is awesome, man. I mean really awesome. It's like a shotgun and a grenade launcher had a baby and created this monster of a weapon. Not to mention that you can control the direction of the projectile. This thing is awesome, and it is devastating, and it also is definitely going to be interesting to see what kind of plays people can make with this weapon, but by god is it fun. Another classic is the battle rifle. A burst rifle that's good with headshots and is very consistent with medium to far range. It's also a long time favorite of mine. 3 for 3, you mad lads, you've done it. They actually made a DMR that's an automatic weapon. Well, not really, it's a new weapon called the Commando, but in reality it's just a thicker automatic version of the DMR. This thing is a fucking beast. Simple as that, man. If you can land your shots, then whoever you're shooting at literally stands no chance. If their shields are gone and you get a headshot with it, it's all over for them. It really is what you expect a full auto DMR to be. Also, its recoil is super strong, so you have to learn how to control it unless you're planning on shooting at air whenever you meet an opponent. I found it best to shoot in burst, but I'm sure I don't need to teach you how to shoot, kiddo. The Hydra is a returning weapon from Halo 5, and it's a weapon that you lock on to whoever you aim at, and it shoots little rockets at them. But to balance that out, it has a super long reloading time, so be careful with this. A quick side note about this weapon is that it actually has two modes. One is the lock-on like I just mentioned, and the other is free aim mode where your rockets do more damage at the cost of your lock-on. Also, in testing these weapons with a friend, we discovered that if you're cloaked, the Hydra will refuse to lock on to you because it literally can't see you. There are way too many weapons to go over, like the Mangler, Disruptor, Pulse Carbine, Rocket Launcher, Sentinel Beam, Bulldog, and much more. So one thing anyone can't say is that weapons don't have variety this year, because they do, and there's still a slur of more weapons I didn't mention waiting for you. Coming in hot is grenades. There are 4 types of them, so plenty of them to enjoy. You have your typical frag grenade, chuck 2 and whoever you're up against is dead. Plasma grenade makes a return too, all you gotta do is throw it on someone and that's a wrap for them. Spike grenades also make a return, and after they explode, the spikes bounce from wall to wall briefly until they hit something. So you should be smart when you throw this, but if you want, you can also technically use it as a plasma grenade because it sticks onto whoever or whatever you throw it on and can easily ruin it or your day. And lastly, a new grenade to the Halo series is called Dynamo grenades. It's basically an electric grenade that will zap the hell out of shields and surrounding enemies. They take 2 to kill someone, but these grenades are really effective, and especially since you hardly have to worry about missing just chuck 2 and call it a day, man, like for real. This is something I've been waiting to get to for a minute now. If you know Halo, you know there are armor abilities such as the ability to cloak yourself. That's without saying. However, as far as I know, there are 4 others. One of them gives you the ability to drop a drop shield that protects you from the front. Dude, it's literally made out of paper mache. Don't even bother using it. The repulsor is pretty cool. You essentially just push any object into another. Like you can push cars into enemies and kill them, push projectiles away from you when shot at you, or literally freaking anything. It's just reliable through and through. There's a little projectile you can shoot out that scans the area and lets you see whatever is in it through walls, even if they move. There's also the weave, and using the weave is a very easy way to confuse your opponent. If you're in a gunfight and all of a sudden use this to dash to the right, you're basically just breaking them down and gives you plenty of room to attack. And lastly, and easily my favorite, is the grappling hook. Jesus Christ, I didn't know Halo needed a grappling hook until I saw and experienced it firsthand. There are many games where you can grappling hook to where you want to go, sure, but there aren't many games where you can grappling hook a rocket launcher and pull it towards you whilst you catch it and blow whoever the hell up with it. That's sick. I shouldn't have to tell you that's sick. And whoever made that decision in 343 definitely deserves their dick sucked. You can grapple yourself to anything, man. You can do it to other Spartans, and your Spartan will automatically melee them if you do so. And if you manage to hit them from behind with a grapple, it will insta-kill them, and this also paves the way for grapple assassinations. So be on the lookout for that in the future. You can grapple yourself to ledges and curve around corners with it. You can grapple weapons or power-ups off their stations. Grapple yourself to vehicles, and dear God, man. I didn't know this till the night, but Jesus Christ. You can grapple the flag. I mean, dude, what? Like, what? That's crazy. Like, easily one of the best decisions Halo's ever made. Like, Jesus Christ, thank you. I didn't know I needed this. That's crazy. Alrighty, let me calm down. I'm gonna move on to the maps. But the maps are just good, man. I get around all genres of games, so it's safe to say I understand FPS maps pretty easily. And a big problem with Call of Duty lately is that the maps, no matter how good they are, don't provide any incentive at all to move around. So this results in the player base just simply boxing themselves in buildings and camping. Halo removes even the slightest idea of this by putting power-ups everywhere, or secret weapon stashes, or jump pads, or overshields, and the list goes on and on. If you want a good weapon or want to perform well with that weapon, you have to move around. I'm not saying camping doesn't exist in Halo, I'm just saying you see way less people camping because of the reasons I just listed. Leave that in a game mode like Infection, man, not the entire game. So the maps are simple, man. They're just engaging. I have no complaints, like none. Like in one of these maps, there's a turret to use whilst everybody clashes. And speaking of these turrets, they don't suck anymore. So hooray for that. You'd be shooting at dudes in the older games like way longer than you should have to begin with. So now it's easy to take down, sure, but it's damaging as hell. So another point for Infinite. And lastly, there's only a few things left I should tell you guys. And well, The vehicle's health has been lowered a lot, and I actually like this change. That means vehicles are viable but won't completely dominate the scene. It's no secret that brutes are back, so naturally we get brute weapons and vehicles, and the chopper's back and hard to drive as ever. If not more. This vehicle is a beast and straight up my favorite. If you manage to charge straight into a vehicle, they're doomed, cause you just crash right through them and blow them up. If you butt heads with another vehicle, it will slowly grind their health away and force the driver out of the vehicle. Not to mention the guns on the side hurt whoever feels it a lot. It's like this vehicle is just catered for fun. It came out of the womb saying, "Hey, drive me, I'm the best." And lastly guys, something that shook me the first time seeing it, but is something I'm absolutely head over heels with now, is that vehicles of any kind, once it reaches a certain threshold with health, it will slowly start to set off like a bomb. The car will make a growing, alarming noise while glowing brighter and scaring the player out of it. And that, in the heat of the battle, is exactly what we needed.
You've said so many good things, Dogo. Why don't you say something bad?
Okay, well, the only piece of criticism I have is that the progression is very awful, but they could fix it any day. Out of the 6 hours I've played, I've hardly gotten past level 1. This is obviously something they're gonna fix because it quite literally is the only thing the community is complaining about right now. So yeah. And what would you look at that? It looks like as I was recording this, they buffed how much XP you can receive. So yeah, that's out the window. I know it can be hard for whatever reason to accept that Halo is popular for some reason. People just like to argue over things senselessly. Halo, for as long as I can remember, these few years has been in quite a vulnerable state. For Halo these past few years, it's been easy to attack or make fun of due to it not being as popular or similar to the way it was back in the past. This is still counting, but it's obvious I had a lot of fun playing Halo in the 6 hours I've played it alone. As expected, Halo still shines when it comes to playing with the people you love. And throughout the short time I've played it, I've experienced what it was like to be a kid again. I could have cried after I got teabagged for my first time in years. The game is polished, nostalgic, free, fun as hell, and addictive by itself, let alone with friends. Me and my buddies be having moments that be having us howl with laughter. So I'm so happy to share that together again. I never thought I'd be sharing moments like this in this franchise with them ever again. And as a sweet bonus, I have the means to share these memories with you guys too. This is clearly the game 343 has wanted to make for a long time, but simply couldn't hit the target on the mark till now. And because of these reasons, I'm happy to say Halo is back. Well, so any more questions? Good, because oh god,
Comments hanging up!
what's up, homie? Oh, fuck!